One of the things that Kathy and I write about in the book is the importance of ritual for those that are caring for families as well. You know, I think oftentimes we forget that the people at the bedside, whether that's the physician, the nurse, the social worker, the chaplain, the respiratory therapist, they may well have had a relationship with the person who dies, or perhaps they don't. They're just called in. But they're experiencing the intensity of the moment, the grief of the moment, the suffering of the moment. And that we believe that ritual might be something that can be helpful, transformative to the professional as well. One of the things that we talk about in the book is having some things available at a hospital that could be used as part of a ritual if that seemed to be a need for staff. Like one of the ideas that Kathy has used with staff that she works with is to have an area that has some sand in it, like a small flat box, and then each person individually and in silence places their hands in the sand. One person, then another, and so you have these multiple handprints all together, symbolizing, of course, that the staff has come together to honor this life and to honor themselves. And I think that idea can be something that helps people feel more connected to each other and to the person who died. Do you have some examples?
Well, in my experience in a code situation, the physician, when it's clear that the person, the patient, is not going to survive, will ask the staff if everyone is comfortable with stopping the interventions, or if anyone has any other ideas. And I have always felt that I'm allowed to speak up if I think there is something else we should do, as any staff member could do. But I think that in that moment, when the physician looks to the rest of the team, whether you're an EMT or a nurse or the social worker, the chaplain, you feel connected. You've all been in the same situation. You're all experiencing this same sadness and grief. And when the code is called, there is, I think on an unconscious level, a moment where everyone is quiet and they just pause for a moment. And then they go and they start doing the task that they're automatically going to start doing. But in that moment, I've always felt very connected to the team that I'm working with, because we've shared this tragic experience together.
And as a group. I think one other example that I think about is people who have talked about the emptiness that they feel. If they're, for example, in a neonatal intensive care unit where they've gotten to know a baby, the baby's been there a while, and the baby dies, and they're very aware that that space is now very different. And that sometimes a chaplain can come and bless the space. The few people that might have been caring for the baby right during that time and at that death, they have to move on to other patients. It isn't that you can take a lot of time, but even pausing and silently remembering creates a bridge to going on. It's a transition point, and it can be helpful to staff as they're thinking about and dealing with and processing their own feelings of sadness and loss.